Hello and welcome back to my channel where I talk about dolls and doll making. Currently I'm working on a new porcelain doll and I wanted to share my process. In this video you won't see the final result, but if you've seen my previous dolls, you will know what to expect. This time I'm trying a darker shade porcelain. I always use ultra chic porcelain brand, this time in warm brown color. I will list all the materials in the description below. To cast a porcelain doll, you will need plaster molds. I make them myself and I have an online course where I show how to do it. It's quite an annoying process and probably my least favorite part in the doll making. But without molds, I wouldn't be able to create dolls I like. I pour the porcelain into the molds and leave them to sit for a little bit. In this short time, porcelain sticks to the walls of the plaster mold. Depending on the size of the mold, it can be just a few minutes. When I think that enough time has passed, I empty the excess porcelain to create hollow doll parts that eventually will be fired in the kiln. I leave the molds for another hour or so to make sure the porcelain will be hardened enough for me to handle. It's called a leather hard stage. Now it's time to prepare some tools and start opening the molds. The raw porcelain is very soft, so I try to handle each mold with care. I'm very cautious not to smush any doll parts. The plaster soaks up the moisture from the liquid porcelain, so after a few hours the porcelain completely detached from the plaster mold and you can easily remove it. When the doll part is out of the mold, it's time to gently remove all the seams. Since the porcelain is not fired yet, I only remove some of the imperfections and leave the sanding process after the bisfiring in the kiln. As you can see, raw porcelain is still very soft and the consistency reminds me of any other wet clay. I take a wet brush and gently remove the seams left over from the mold. It will make my job easier after the bisque firing and I will need to sand less. It's quite a long process, but I like to put on a podcast and work this way for a few hours until all the parts are ready for the bisque firing. I am so excited about this new doll that I've already made shoes for her and started to embroider my own unique print for her dress. I have such a clear vision for the end result and can't wait to show it to you. Creating a doll is never a linear process for me. I like to jump around and create all these pieces of a puzzle that in the end connects into the most beautiful doll. After this interruption, let's get back to the molds. I still have a few more left to open. The smallest pieces are always the most difficult to cast. Hands and feet have so many details that have to be simplified for the molding process. Then I have to bring back all the details by sanding and carving. But even the small pieces like hands and feet get the same treatment as other doll parts. I gently remove the seams and other imperfections if I can do it safely and without damaging the soft porcelain. Hands always require the most work after taking them out of the molds. Most of the time I need to separate the fingers again and recreate the intricate pose that I sculpted originally. When all the pieces are cleaned, I leave them to dry fully and fire in the kiln. This firing is called a bisque firing, when porcelain is not fired to maturity yet. After the bisque firing, I will be able to sand and detail all the pieces. Sanding is usually done in water because porcelain dust can be very harmful for your lungs. Even if it wouldn't be, I still love wet sanding because any dusts are very annoying. So I prepare some tools like sanding sponges, an X-Acto knife, a small drill bit and other tools to help me prepare this porcelain for a final firing. I continue removing any imperfections and leftover seams, as well as bringing back any lost details. This process is definitely long and I need a few full days of work to complete sanding one doll. After the final firing, I won't be able to do any changes, so I need to make sure everything is perfect before it can go to the kiln. Even though it takes a long time, I love this stage, because I can finally see how my doll will look like. The details are shaping up again and I can see how they will fit together. When all the sanding is done, the pieces go in the kiln for the final firing. The porcelain will reach maturity and will become the strong, beautifully smooth material that is perfect for dolls. I will still need to do a lot of work painting and connecting all the pieces, but the final result is much more closer. Here you can see the pieces after the final firing. I love this warm brown color and can't wait to paint this doll. I hope this was interesting to watch, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos featuring this new doll. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I see you soon.